vehicle experience you can have.
Okay, the engine side of the water feed's done. Now I'm just going to do the water feed on the turbo. Luckily, when I bought these fittings for the TD04, they are exactly the same to the VF30. So I've got a M10 banjo here with 2 copper washers, and that's going to go straight onto Freddy. And what I'm going to do is, I've got a 45-degree angle coming out from the block, and I might just find some stainless zip ties or like hose clamps and follow the oil dipstick, because that'll give me a good curvature and not get too close to the downpipe or the exhaust housing, and it will not hit the bonnet and my intake as well, the big U-shaped thing. So that is the oil feed done. Same deal with the water drain. Bought the TD04 set and it fits perfectly, so I'm gonna tighten that down with the supplied gasket. Oh crap. Supplied gasket, and then that is the turbo side of the oil drain. What I'm going to tackle next is the water feed. That's from the back of the block to the heater core to the fitting that was down here by the mixer. What I'm going to do is going to cut the old pipe and then replace it with the adapter, and hopefully we'll get enough space to route the lines. So I preliminarily cut the rear hose first. You can see the adapter just down there poking out. I don't have the brass fitting in there because I totally forgot that the shop closes on Saturday, so that will have to be a Monday adventure. But anyway, so my theory worked. You can put an adapter there a little bit longer and it doesn't foul anything. A couple more hose clamps on there, so that's a total of 4 on that line. That brass fitting is going to stick out straight, which is going to be attached to this part here. So right now I can at least get the length right to fit into that piece there. Okay, after a lot of cutting and measuring and then cutting again because I made a mistake, here is the final water line diagram, for lack of a better word. So just to repeat one more time, if you haven't been explained to already, there is a hose that comes from the back of the block that goes through the normal place to the start of the heater core, but behind here there's my T-fitting, which feeds into the turbo this way. Boop. And then the normal path is that the heater core exits and goes around through here, attaches to this hose, and goes all the way to front towards the modified mixing manifold. Now over here is my other T-fitting, which is exactly the same as over here. That is the return from the turbo to the normal water line. This braided hose is the oil feed, and I've got zip ties along both and all 3 of the lines. What I'm going to plan to do there is just make some clamps or use some rubber stainless clamps because it's still near the downpipe. I've got some spare silicon joiners from the mixing manifold to the radiator. So what I might do is might cut them in, like cut one side and then use that to wrap around all 3, or just you know, one or two hoses just to give that extra layer of protection. But all in all, I'm pretty happy. It looks pretty sweet. It looks all uniform, flows with each other. Once again, yeah, they're not connected. So you can see that my hose isn't connected there. That's the T-piece. I don't have the fitting, and that guy was just literally just sitting there just for demonstration purposes. So when they all come, they should be pretty sweet. This hose, this corner bit here, and then the one that goes inside the out of the heater core, that's actually the same as that one. I just cut it in half and use the long side first rather than just the short side, and then the long goes all the way back. So it's a long, short, and for here I'll need to get another fitting, like a I think it's like 16 to 16 hose straight, because another option was to run the T-fitting here, but then I thought this would be better because it looks cooler with all 3 lines going through. So I'm gonna finish off with putting the intake just to see if there's any interference with this water routing. And would you look at that? All the lines clear, nothing's interfering with each other. I'm pretty stoked. While I'm putting the intake on, I might as well go ahead and drill a hole for this bracket to bolt onto this flange. And also the couplers I bought this morning, I'm gonna put them on and see how they look. Hose clamp for 3-inch. So the plan is to lock this guy down and then tighten the clamps up, because that can't move, but these guys can a little bit. Alright, I think that wraps up day number 1, Saturday, of the Turbo number 3 episode. I can't really remember what I did, but I'll put probably a list of what I've done on the screen somewhere. But yeah, a good 8 hours or so, or a bit more, of wrenching. Oh, the whiteboard, we could probably use that. Okay, get the whiteboard, put it over here, and then got the, where's the whiteboard marker? Okay, so what did we do today? We've done the wastegate, we haven't plumbed it in. We've mounted the intake bracket, couplers pre-turbo, oil feed, and we did part of the drain, but we haven't done the tapping of the oil pan, which is a scary thing, but I'll do that probably tomorrow. Water feed, I'm just gonna strike that out because all we're missing is the brass fittings. Then I gotta JB weld that and then hose clamp it all down, which is good. Water drain, yep, this is the other side, so I'm gonna put that as a tick and a cross because that's still not done yet, so I need to go ahead and make sure I don't forget about it. Heatproof lines, I haven't gotten anything yet, but I'm just gonna keep it unmarked because I do want to reinforce the yeah, maybe just put some protective sleeving here that, you know, like when I said cutting up the old piping there and using that as a sacrificial piece, or, you know, do it nicely and put some heat sleeve on there. So that's still something I need to do. Okay, so that's not going to be ticked. The idle sensor, oh yes, that, no, I haven't even touched that, so that's no, haven't drilled and tapped that and haven't put that in, and haven't done that. So day 1 we kind of completed most of the things. Oh, something I haven't put here is the water mixer, which is a big thing, which took up most of my time, just so that I can cross that out. Forget, maybe tomorrow. That's really easy to do. That should be easy. I just gotta, oh, I can do that when I do these guys, because that's when all the drilling and tapping of the cold side of the intercooler will get done. But yeah, so that concludes episode number 3. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's a little bit chop and change because I was trying to do a lot of things at one time, but on to the next stage.